say, goddamn. He said, all right. I said, let's do a podcast. Let's sit down. Let's get a coffee. Let's just talk about 1, 2, 3, 4. Coffee with the Sam. Got a little podcast. Grab yourself a little coffee and a podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Wax and Relax. www.waxandrelax.co.uk, guys. They make homemade wax melts, and they go in your house, probably in your garden when we've got summer. You can put them outside. They melt. I don't know if you've seen them. You put a flame underneath them, you melt, and they come out with the flavors, whatever they've infused the wax with. Now they are handmade, guys. Now in this time we need to support local businesses, small, but not even local, small businesses. They're from Bournemouth. They feel the waves, they feel the sea, they feel the sand from Bournemouth. They know what a good smell smells like. So get at them, www.waxandrelax.co.uk for all your good smelling wax melts.
Nice.
Welcome to the show, guys. That's how we enter. So this one has been a long time coming. If a lot of you haven't watched back my old podcasts, then it's this man's fault to why I ended up going away from cheerleading. So if you were like a current, or you've watched it from the beginning, the Coffee with Sam podcast, it started cheerleading based, and then me and you were talking, weren't we? You gave me a call one day and was like, dude, I'm thinking of doing something different with my life.
Yeah.
Could you give me a chat? And I was like, yeah, sound. That's it. And we had about an hour and a half, 2 hours on the phone, didn't we? And after that, Josh was explaining to me, so Josh is a mate from school. We're never really close mates, were we? Just the same circle of people.
Yeah, pretty much, mate.
Yeah. So never like best of mates, but just
always in the bottom class with each other. Bottom to middle. Down
there causing trouble. So I know Josh from school, called me, asked for some help. I gave him some help. He's gone on to flourish in what he asked about, but it was more the interest I took on your job, which I knew what you were doing, which is a great thing with Instagram and Facebook. I knew exactly what you've been doing, where you've been going, what you've been doing, but never like, Josh, your job's pretty cool. And then I was like, you know what? I want to talk to him about this. It's lockdown. Do you fancy jumping on a Zoom with me? And you were like, yeah, right. What are you going to ask me? And I was like, well, I'll just ask as many questions as I can. If you can't talk about it, then don't talk about it. So what Josh is armed forces? Is it military armed forces? Is that?
Yeah,
I don't want to say the wrong words. I know you all hate each other.
It. No, army. Yeah,
I know
army.
You all like. It's all like one up in it, like the Air Force hate the army.
Yeah.
I've got a mate now that's just going for the Navy, so he hates all those.
Completely separate. Yeah. Talk about it.
So I got really interested, and then it's your fault because then people watched it and people listened to it, and it got the most downloads. And I've got I thought I had a cheerleading following, and clearly I didn't. So I was like, I really enjoyed that conversation talking about not cheerleading. Yeah. And then there you go, ice cream truck. Everyone else loved that conversation. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go cheerleading based anymore. So it's your fault that I ended up a bit like Joe Rogan,
mixing it up
and just talk to everyone. And since then I've had I don't know if you watched one with the other military guy who was I call it bomb finding, but
so you did, yeah,
it
pretty much is.
I kept saying bomb disposal, and he's like, oh no, I didn't do that. And what did you do then? I'm like, well, it's bomb finding then.
Yeah,
but that doesn't sound very good. Like,
no, it's kind of it's a little bit misterminology.
Yeah, it just sounds really like bomb finding. So explain your job then, Josh. What you did do.
So my current role is I'm in the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards. I have been for nearly 11 years. And for those that don't know, they're the Queen's Guards. They stand outside Buckingham Palace in the red tunics. And then the other side to it is infantry, so it's sort of war-based fighting. My role at the minute is I'm a section commander, so I'd lead like a 10 to 12 man section. I'll have a section 2 IC, and then also a role within that. I'm a physical training instructor within the military, and I'm in charge of getting my company, which is 100 men strong, getting their physical ability up to the required standard for the field army.
So that's what you've gone into now. So from what you were doing, you've worked your way up to
essentially.
Sergeant, or what is it? How's it work?
Land sergeant, yeah. So I'm section commander, which is kind of like a full corporal in the other sort of military terminology.
Where are you based now?
So we are in Aldershot. So I've just finished 2 years up in Catterick, where you was last week, I missed you. So I finished 2 years up there instructing recruits in basic training, and then that's finished up there now. So I've gone back down to my regiment in.
Guys, so
in
if you don't know the UK or geography, Catterick is like 2.5 hours, 3 hours away from the Midlands in the arse end of nowhere. It's just literally
Yorkshire.
People say military town. It literally is a military base with some shops and houses around it. And I kept going. I went up there once, didn't I? And that was about a month before we had the conversation. You were like, dude, this is where I'm based. So then we're going to get on to why Josh called me the other week. But Josh called me and was like, I'm doing this pretty cool thing. Do you want to come and be part of it? And I was like, dude, you never guess what? I'm actually in Catterick that weekend. And he was like, yeah, I'm based at home now. So it's not with there. So then Josh was back down here doing what he wanted to do. And I wanted to help him, but couldn't. So I had to, and I was the other end where he always been. I was just like, that's my life. Like, I'm just like, for God's sake. I was fine. Like, I'm going to get to see Josh. I'll get to spend some time with him. Yeah. No, because he's like 10 minutes away from my actual house where I live now, not 2.5 hours. So I don't want to touch too much on your job, because if you want to know more about his job, go back and watch the other podcast. It's pretty sick. You find out about him guarding the Queen and all that stuff. Yeah, I used it as a bit of a thumbnail, the Queen's bodyguard, but people loved him, mate. That's what they call you now. If I ever mention it, they go, well, what, the Queen's bodyguard? And I'm like, yeah, he was. And he's my mate. He's one of my boys. I want to get onto this stupid thing that you have just done. You're wearing a t-shirt, so let's explain what.
So I thought I'd get this out. It's been washed since, and I thought I'd chuck it on. It'd be quite.
Mate, if you'd come without it being washed, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm involved.
I'm involved. So I had an idea probably about 6 months ago. I spoke to a couple of guys at work. I spoke to Jamie T about it as well, and a lot of people, it was just, oh yeah, cool, yeah, nice one, and they just didn't think you'd ever do it. And then probably around about 3 months ago, I decided to just make a GoFundMe page on Just Giving, and that way then it's set. I've got no backing out of it. I've tagged Anthony Nolan in it, and then they contacted me and asked if they could run a story on it, which was great.
Oh, that's wicked.
So I was even deeper then. So there was sort of no turning around. And what it was, for those that don't know, I ran 3 miles every hour on the hour for 24 hours. Which, when you say it like that, doesn't seem that bad, not at least to me anyway. And then probably after a couple of weeks, I thought I'll get the calculator out, I'll put it in and see how many miles it is in total. And it's 72 miles, which is just 6.6 miles shy of 3 marathons. So then it was a little bit more daunting.
In 24 hours?
In 24 hours, yeah.
Jeez.
But I run quite regularly anyway, so I'm quite conditioned towards it. But the one thing I thought would be a lot easier is if I maintained, say, 8.5 to 9 minute miles. I'd then come in around the 28-minute mark, 26-minute mark. I'd have 35 minutes to recover. And when you think that, you think, oh, it's easy. You've got loads of time to recover. Get some food, stretch, little nap. But it became quite apparent that weren't going to be the case. Even 10-minute miles come to the 46 mile point. I was struggling to maintain the 10-minute mile point. So I was getting in. Sometimes I'd have 5 minutes rest and then I'd be going straight out again on the hour. But if it weren't for the help of some of my friends that came and helped me, especially throughout the dark hours, and the support of my dad and that.
So your dad was on a bike, wasn't
he? He was following me around on a bike, yeah.
You should have
people walking with me. It was brilliant.
Did you keep your Instagram stories?
Yes, I've got them all. Yeah, I've saved all the Instagram stories. They're all on the on the highlights bit on the page. So I've got all them on there. There's a couple of other videos that haven't been published and some mad photos, but yeah. What is the?
Before I've got so many questions.
Yeah.
So what is the Anthony
Nolan? Bit of a mouthful. Yeah. So Anthony Nolan charity. It's been around for a while now, and they don't get any funding from other organisations. It's all sort of like donations. People doing I keep saying GoFundMe pages, Just Giving pages. So they're relying heavily on that. And what it is, it's
don't
people that
have
have
the wrong company.
No, I know. Yeah. So Just Giving.
Just Giving, guys. Just Giving.
Justgiving.co.uk.
Not like GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. What is GoFundMe?
It's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
A lot of people just use it like, I'm poor, can you help me out though?
That's it. I sent it on for the World Cup, yeah. But on the Just Giving page. So Anthony Nolan, they help people with blood cancer and that have blood disorders. So you register to become a donor, and you register. If you're a match, you'll donate your stem cells or like bone marrow or whatever it is that the person that's struggling needs to then rid their body of whatever it is they've got, the blood disorder, the blood cancer, and then your new cells will then come in and then hopefully give them a full recovery.
Oh, nice. I've never. It's bad, probably bad. Not bad of me to say, but I've never.
A lot of people haven't
Until you kept putting it. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
And that's the main thing. I just kept putting it out there.
So did they give you a lot of? Do you reckon you've got some money from their story they did on you, or?
I'm not particularly sure. It's difficult to see because some people like to do it anonymous. There's a lot of people, which I'm really, really pleased about. A lot of people on there that I have no idea who they are, that have been that kind to take the time out, go on there, and put money into it without knowing me. They just know the cause. And the main thing I wanted to take away from it is the reason I was doing it was to get people to donate, but not for what I was doing. That was just to get people's attention to the actual charity. So people that were donating weren't donating for me doing that. They were just, I wanted them to donate for the actual cause, which is why I also wanted people to go on, take time to look at their website and then potentially become a donor themselves.
Oh, okay.
Was the main sort of thing. Get them to become a donor and as many people to donate as possible.
Where's that website? How can they find that?
So you can go on my page, or you just go on Google, type in Anthony Nolan donor, go on the website, and it's pretty much on the first page. You'll click apply now or apply to become a donor. Click on it, and it's one of them 60-second forms you fill out. They'll send you a pack in the post, and it'll be a swab. You'll just swab the inside of your mouth, put it in the pack, send it off, and that's you done. Painless.
Nice. So go, guys. Go do that.
Yeah, go do it. Yeah.
And it's so once that happens, then you're just on the list, right? And then if you become a match, they give you a little call and say,
that's it. Yeah,
can you help out?
Yeah, that's it. But it costs them £40. That's another reason.
This episode is sponsored by Wax and Relax. www.waxandrelax.co.uk, guys.
Why funding is so important to them. It costs £40 each pack they send out to somebody. So the point from you applying to them sending the pack and then you becoming a donor, it costs all in all £40. So that £2,180 that's raised. I mean, I won't do the maths now because I'm not very good at it, but you divide that by 40 and you see how many people it's helped. You know what I mean already?
Yeah, well, I love it. And I'm close to my heart. Friend who had cancer, and then Alex, my partner, every day. She's a cancer nurse.
Yeah.
Monday to Friday.
Definitely,
and the stories I have to tell her sometimes when she comes home. I was like, I don't want to be the devil, but can you just be quiet?
It's a
I
lot.
don't want to know because it brings me down.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm like, I let her talk for a bit, and then I'm just like, but it is alarming how much is out there and how young it is in young people. And you're like, you're lucky. I'm lucky I made it to 30.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one good side of it. That I get that blessing every day. Like, but it's an amazing thing that you've done or doing, and probably you're gonna continue to do. I think.
Yeah,
in my eyes,
few more
you're probably gonna continue to do it. So let's get to the challenge itself. It was some Ross Edgley shit, man. like you said, 3 marathons in 24 hours. Now I want to talk about what's it feel like on that first, all the hype. You're about to go. You've been building up to it. People might be there. People might not be there. Was there anyone there when you first set off?
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember Mr. Barber from school, Paddy Barber.
Yeah.
So he's my cousin. So he popped up. So he was asking weeks before. He's like,
no wonder you got away with it.
Is there anything I can do? He's asking, is there anything I can do? And I was like, you know what, Paddy? I was like, you come on, that'd be class. And he, the cake, you see the picture of the cake?
Yeah.
So that's what he baked. He baked that cake.
Nice.
So he was there to see me off. Esme and Hudson, my two kids were there. Laura was there, but everyone else was at work. It was a Friday, so but it was nice having them there to see me off. And then Paddy stayed there for about 3 hours. So whenever I come back in, he was there just chatting absolute rubbish.
And what's that feel like? Like, to you, this is a massive thing. Then there's 3 or 4 people there.
Yeah.
Where do you find that? You know, these people that talk every day about motivation. I can't get motivated to go to the gym, or I can't get motivated to get a new job, or I can't get motivated to look after my family properly.
Yeah.
How do you get motivated? You're coming out, you set HQ up in your garage, right? So you're at your house. You're not even at your military base. You're not got all your boys cheering you on, like testosterone filled, let's go. There's your wife, kids, kids, married? You're not married, are you?
No, we're engaged,
Engaged kids that are there anyway, and they say you're wicked anyway. That's normal. One dude turns up, that's pretty cool, but he's your cousin. And then maybe people are coming throughout the day.
Yeah, they come throughout
How
the day.
do you build that? I'm about to run for 24 hours, but no one really cares.
No, you're right. You know what? I mean, I don't really give myself much time to think about it, because 15 minutes before, I was in Aldi with Esme, running around, pushing around in a trolley, getting last minute supplies.
Haribo.
So some Tangfastics. So I didn't really have time to sit and, when I do stuff like this, I don't like to, what people like to have a quiet time and sit around and just do nothing, build up to it. I think that's probably the worst thing you can do, because you're thinking then too much. Whereas, like I said, 15 minutes before, I was running around doing the little trolley dash around Aldi with the little one, not knowing if I'll get back in time, and thinking I'm going to have to park the car up and just run from there, do 3 miles, then come back, park up. As long as I get the 3 miles in.
Mate, that on its own, we haven't even got deep into like sleep deprivation and fatigue and that yet. That there, if you're a parent, get your ass to the gym. Yeah, if some dude is thinking about, he's just about to do a 24-hour endurance challenge, and 15 minutes before he's thinking, shit, how am I going to complete this first 3 miles, because everyone's waiting for me to go live on Instagram or whatever, and my little kid won't stop running. I'm already doing a mile round Aldi. Yeah, if that's not an excuse to get your own ass off the sofa, and even worse if you're not a parent and you can't get off the sofa and go and do anything, keep playing back what he's just said. And if he can do it with a kid and he's just about to go into what he's about to go into and think, okay, I'm going to have to go around the car park first and then get home to do the next 3 miles. Yeah. To the missus, stay here. I'm running home. You drive back. I'm running home. Then that's an excuse. That's a motivation that you need right there. Cool. So you've set off. It's horrible to get into running anyway, because when you first 20-30 minutes, your body's like settling in,
just warming up,
and you're thinking, well, geez, I got a lot to go. What was the thinking behind pacing yourself? Because like you said, you want to do 10-minute, but that's still quite fast.
Yeah. So in the first story I done when I got back, I set off, and I've got it on my watch anyway, so I can see the pacing I'm doing, and I set off, and it was, for the first probably 300 metres, I was sub 7 minute. And I was like, yeah, right. And obviously, it felt comfortable because I'd just started running. And I was like, right, yeah, definitely need to slow this down a little bit. It took it to like 8.5 minutes. And after I'd done that, it felt quite comfortable. But it was just having that discipline to stay within those sort of pacings and not get carried away, because I was fresh and trying to plan for the later stages when I would be near walking. Inevitably towards the end. So that was the most difficult thing, was keeping the pacing and the discipline at the beginning.
Do you find that having a military background, this made it, not that it was easy, but made it easier for you?
I think so, yeah. Like Laura was saying, she was like, how are you, how's it not bothering you that you're about to go run for 24 hours and not sleep? I was like, if I'm honest, I've not really thought about it. It's just one of those things that it's just, I'm doing it and that's it.
Are there exercises a bit like that?
Yeah, you'll do exercise. I mean, even in training, it's like a rite of passage. It's like the defensive exercise. So it's where you have to dig like a 10-man fire trench, which is say 15 meter, 10 meters by about a meter wide, and it's as deep as the tallest man's chest. And depending on what ground you get, I mean, that can take you from upwards of 3 to 4 days, and you don't get no sleep until it's dug. So quite an early time in the army, you sort of get to deal with sleep deprivation. It never gets any easier. You can't train your body to go without sleep.
Yeah, well, that's one of the most important.
It's just one of those things. Yeah, it's just one of those things that you just sort of accept, and you know it's going to end. You know what I mean? It's not like you're never going to sleep again. And when it's for a great cause, and you've got all the people sort of that have already sponsored, donated, you can't really pull out really. So. Yeah.
What did your page get to? Because it was on was it like 600 when you started, but you were like, okay, £100 over my target, and then you ended up $2,000, over $2,000.
It's obviously it's pretty much ceased now. But even yesterday there was a donation. I'm going to close it. We're on Thursday, aren't we? Yeah. So Sunday I'm going to close it, and then all proceeds then go to the Anthony Nolan charity. But yeah, it's on £2,180 now, I think.
That's
which
insane, isn't it?
I initially had the target of £500. I'd have been more than happy
that just
with.
Makes you want to do it again, though, doesn't it?
Not quite yet, but yeah. There'll be more challenges. I don't know what other challenges to do, but there'll be more throughout the years.
How fast have you recovered?
I couldn't believe. So when I'd first finished it, I then I stretched off, tidied the garage. had some pizzas, drank some carb drinks, had a nice bath, and then about an hour later I think I got about 4 hours sleep, and then I woke up fairly fresh, a little bit groggy, pushed it out to the night time, went to bed, woke up, stretched off, and then, if I'm honest, I was pretty much back good to go then. And then
No ice baths, anything like that?
no ice baths, no, just plenty of stretching, foam rolling. I stole this back massager off my mum, which is I sort of lay it on the floor and used it as a foam roller and just lay on it with different parts of my legs on it, which seemed to really help.
Does that during or after? Like during?
This was after. Yeah. I mean, during I weren't really doing much apart from stretching. I had like a strict regime when I got in. I had 6 minutes to eat.
This episode is sponsored by Wax and Relax. www.waxandrelax.co.uk, guys. They make homemade wax melts, and they go in your house, probably in your garden when we've got summer. You can put them outside. They melt. I don't know if you've seen them. You put a flame underneath them, you melt, and they come out with the flavors, whatever they've infused the wax with. Now, they are handmade, guys. Now, in this time, we need to support local businesses, not even local, small businesses. They're from Bournemouth. They feel the waves, they feel the sea, they feel the sand from Bournemouth. They know what a good smell smells like. So get at them, www.waxandrelax.co.uk for all your good smelling wax melts.
Drink, go to the toilet, and stretch. And then the other 20 minutes was just lying down. And then my alarm would go off at 58 minutes to the hour. My mate would drag me up, get my trainers on, and then would go straight out the garage door.
Just get going. I bet that's the hardest part, just get going. I did see on one of your Instagram posts, you said that there were many times, even with the money and whatever you were doing, you were like, I'm done that. I ain't doing this.
I was having, so it was probably, the hardest time about it was from midnight until around about 04:30, 05, when it was completely pitch black. And I was completely knackered, and I was having sort of like 15 minutes nap, which was like drifting in and out of consciousness. But in those 15 minutes, I was dreaming. So my mind was like playing tricks on me by saying, right, when you wake up, you're going to tell Jimmy, my mate who was running with me, that you're not doing it anymore. You're this, you're that. Your body's breaking down on you, and you're just not doing it. And then I'd wake up and I'd be like, I'm going to have to tell Jimmy I'm not doing it. And I'm like, look, Jimmy. And he's like, mate, just don't, right? Just put your trainers on and get out the door. I was like, yeah, it's probably best.
Mate, that's the sleep deprivation, right?
Yeah, so my brain was sort of, it was turning on me while I was asleep. And then when I woke up, I realised it was
asleep though. You weren't really asleep,
no,
were you?
Yeah. So it was, I was battling that as well, which was really, really difficult. Even though I knew I was at home, I had all my comforts. I'd been there before. It still just sort of turns on you, no matter how strong your mind is. But I think I said it before, if Jimmy wasn't there, I'd like to think I wouldn't have quit. And I don't think I would have. I just wouldn't have made the sort of times. I'd have just been continuously walking instead of having rest. But having someone there to do that, who's experienced, was just brilliant.
What was it like? 'Cause it started to rain, didn't it, as well?
If I'm honest, I was really lucky with that. So when I set off at 10 o'clock, it absolutely pissed it down, to the point where I come back in, I was completely soaked. I had to do like wet dry drills. So as soon as I got in the garage, took all my wet clothes off, put dry clothes back on, and then I had like 35 minutes to chill. And then I think at 12 o'clock again, same again. But apart from that, it was really, really dry. I was quite fortunate.
Did you get sores?
Yes. So again, that's another thing I was running around Audi for. So my mate Jimmy, who coming out me out, he does quite a lot of ultra runs, so he's quite used to it. And he was like, whatever you do, you need to get some Vaseline. So that's what I was running around Asda for, getting some Tang Fastics and some Vaseline, like a madman running around like the feminine aisles, trying to grab it. And luckily I managed to get it, but so covered all the areas in that needed it after about the first, say, 10 hours. But in terms of blisters, I never got any blisters.
You probably just got calloused feet though from being in the military, right?
Yeah, but I normally do get blisters.
Take your shoes
though.
off and they're just white.
Yeah,
thick, 12 layers of skin.
I mean, I look after them quite well. I mean, I filed them down earlier, but
oh, they reckon these military are big tough dudes. I just ran 3 marathons in 24 hours, but I like a good pedicure and a manicure.
Good pedicure, yeah. But apart, I was really surprised I didn't get no blisters.
What's God in our country?
It is. You got to look after yourself, haven't you? You got to look after
Gotta have
yourself.
nice nails inside
Nice
those
nails.
boots.
I mean, my nails don't really get much of it. They just get a clip in every now and then. That's about it. But my feet, I definitely look after those.
So no sores.
Mm.
Like,
just hot spots, really. It depends how much you want to talk about sores, if I'm honest.
go for it. Hey.
I mean, can you swear on here? Can you say?
Go for it.
can
I've
you
already
say-
swore 4
Can
times.
you say words
mate.
like arsehole?
Yeah, I've already swore
I mean,
4 times, mate.
my arsehole was pretty sore. To be fair.
You didn't have to go that deep. You could have just said
Yeah.
bumhole. You didn't have to. I thought you were gonna like say it effing hurt or
No,
like
no,
I've
no,
already
no.
swore. But
Yeah.
just, I'm not gonna use bumhole. I'm gonna ask if I can
But,
swear. Then I'm gonna say arsehole.
arsehole. But what was really difficult from like mile 9, I had like severe stomach cramps. So every single time I was running round, I was literally, bearing in mind it's broad daylight, I'm thinking, where am I going to have to go for a shit somewhere around here? And I can't because there's dog walks, everybody's out. So I was battling that running round, and as soon as I'd get in, I'd go straight to the toilet, do my business, sort myself out, and then it's time to go straight again. And I had that literally for, well, the other 60 miles pretty much.
Yeah, you said that you had after we'd spoke. You said that it was your stomach that was causing the problems.
I think I had like a stomach, because I'd done quite an intense PT session on the Monday, and when I finished that on the Monday, it sort of came on then where I had sort of stomach cramps and terrible bowel movements.
There we go. That's better.
And I thought it had
Arsehole
gone.
sickness.
Yeah,
That's what I thought you were going like.
Another great word.
I thought you were going to go for it again. Like.
But I thought it was just one of those sort of things, and it had gone. But as soon as I got into the run, it weren't. It was back again. I had like 6 Imodium, which was reading the packet, the most you can have in a 24-hour period. And I'd had them in like 6 hours, and that didn't do anything.
I wonder if that was the nutrition you were having, because if you were going for like easy digestible foods,
I was, yeah.
and you don't normally. I know you stay away from. We spoke about you stay away from caffeine because you have caffeine, but you have that other stuff that stops you crashing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't eat much sugar. You don't drink alcohol. So now you've just suddenly gone from all these very nutrient dense foods to Tang Fastics that are just going to go.
I didn't have those till later on though,
Oh, okay.
so I was still quite fresh because this was at mile 9.
Maybe you were nervous.
Yeah, maybe. Laura said that. I was like, I don't think so. But it was strange that it was after I don't know. It's weird how it came on after an intense PT session on the Monday.
Well, I suppose you're still around a lot of people, aren't
And
you?
then, yeah,
In the
yeah.
military, you could get anything. You're around a lot of like
it
dudes,
was,
aren't you?
yeah, it was quite strange, which made it. I mean, it was enjoyable, but it made it testing in other ways. Doing that, I could have done without it, if I'm honest. To the point where I'd nearly had to walk on some points, but I knew I had to get back home because otherwise I'd have been in the papers. Or getting charged £1,000 for fouling in the street.
Yeah, he did. Who did that? Was it Paula Radcliffe? She weed in the street, didn't she? Once?
She done it in a public drain. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta go, man. I mean, there was nothing going to be stopping me.
Oh, poor Josh doesn't
Um,
finish his challenge, but gets arrested.
Yeah, I'd have got charged. I got fined. Yeah, it would have been a nightmare. But luckily, I
So
held on.
did many? So what time did you start this? Was it 10 o'clock?
So I started at 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock on the Friday morning.
So did many people join you throughout the day?
Yeah, so
'Cause obviously that's what you'd called me for to see if I'd come
yeah.
along with you.
I mean, a lot of people they were at work.
And I just
It was-
faked
it
that I was in
Friday.
Carrick.
Yeah, I know.
So
I
I was
noticed,
actually
yeah.
at home with my feet up with a beer.
Yeah, knocking the garage wall through.
No, I won't even do that, mate. I was just like, I can't help you. I'm in Carrick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Just get out of my 3 miles. Mate, I'd have come and done half the day with you.
It'd have been nice, man. It would have been nice, but you
I'd have bought cameras. I'd have bought cameras. I'd have vlogged you.
Yeah,
I'd have gone all in. That's why I was more gutted.
I'd have to do another one.
That's why I was more gutted. I was like, could have made a good story. This could have done.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. To be fair, going back to when I said that, first come up with the sort of idea, I asked quite a few people. I was like, "Do you fancy doing this with me?" And that's probably why I got the sort of response I did with, "Yeah, Sam, mate, but no, I think I'm busy that week."
Yeah,
A lot of people were
6
just
months
like,
in advance.
Yeah, no, definitely booked up.
6 months in advance.
Yeah.
Would have been sick, man, if your military boys turned up all in gear to finish like the last 2
Yeah,
hours
yeah.
with you or something. That'd have been sick.
Everyone's all over the place at the minute with getting ready
Like
to
when,
go to Kenya.
I loved that. I actually was quite emotional when Ross Edgley finished that swim, and they organised, and he didn't know they'd organised all those like 300 swimmers to finish
Up
that.
to, at Margate, yeah.
Even though Rogan kicked off and said, Those fakers, man. You just swam around Great Britain. They're
Literally,
stealing your thunder for the
last
not even last mile. Like,
Yeah.
just quick paddle. Yeah.
Depends how you look at it, though.
But how cool for him
Yeah.
to have been coming over that horizon and being like, all those people, man. Like, I mean, sick. Imagine if
'Cause he
people were
thought, I take it you read his book.
yeah.
He said that he didn't expect anyone to be there, did he?
Yeah.
And the old times, like, again, his mind sort of playing tricks on him and just self-doubt.
Yeah.
Um,
Is he a bit of someone who you've looked up to do this? There's a bit of him and Grenade J, which I know you follow both of them.
Yeah,
'cause
so-
they're people I put you onto when you first spoke to me, and they both do it, don't they?
Yeah, they do,
The
yeah,
endurance
yeah.
challenges.
But I think even before I started following them, I was doing those within the military anyway. I was doing sort of 24-hour relays. I've done 12-hour continuous runs and stuff like that. So, I mean, yes and no, really. I'd always sort of done it, but...
it's that mindset you need to be in. This episode is sponsored by Wax and Relax. www.waxandrelax.co.uk, guys. The military, isn't it?
I
That
think you do, yeah.
that weird, little bit weird.
Jamie Alton has been in the military.
Yeah,
He spent, 7 or 8 years in the
you have to be
military.
a little bit weird, don't you? Like, a
Yeah,
little
you
bit,
have, yeah.
little
And
bit
Ross
tapped.
Edgley, I mean, he spends most of his time down at Lympstone with the Marines, so...
Yeah, he spent.
um,
He's about probably the only person who spent enough time like in the military, but never been in
Never
the
been
military.
in the military, yeah. He's been there long enough for him to give him kit. He's got all the kit, but...
Yeah, because he's done it. They help him with his swimming, don't they? They actually
Yeah,
helped him
yeah.
with the
I think he done a 48-hour swim down there.
after. Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen the one when he misses. He tries to swim from Saint Lucia to Martinique, and he doesn't
the
make.
triathlon.
Yeah, and he doesn't make dragging that tree, and he doesn't
Yeah.
make it because the tide turns against him twice. So he gets home, doesn't he? And he's like, I've let myself down.
Yeah.
Calls them up and says, lads, can I borrow the pool for 48 hours? And
Yeah.
they're like, why? And he's like, I need to swim for 48 hours.
Straight, yeah.
And he just swims up and down. And I think they helped him then with his mindset, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is, that's if you got people like that on your back,
That's what I mean, yeah, you can't...
It's sick. And it's like you're going in straight away with that mentality to be able to do that. What was it like then going into it when the sun went down and no one's turning up anymore? So like, yeah, they weren't there at the beginning, but James is coming. Which James, I had him on the podcast. That guys, is that James Thomas, who he shared his fucking story, man, and I nearly cried. He hit me with it, man. Literally within seconds of the podcast, hit me with it, and I didn't even know, and was like.
Yeah,
Then twice I've nearly cried on the podcast. Twice. Him's one of them. And the other one was a military dude telling me when he lost his friend. Yeah, and I didn't know about that either. Literally just sat here and he drops that on me. And that's why I love these conversations, because they hit me and they make me this makes me a better person. So yeah, James is one. He was coming to help you. Other people are popping in. Your dad's fresh. He's doing wheelies on his push bike or whatever, and it's all fun and games. But then it hits 1 o'clock in the morning. No one's coming. Your dad's faded. He's probably helping you, but he's faded. The kids have gone to bed. The missus has gone to bed. Where'd you find that from? Before the sleep deprivation kicks in.
Yeah, so I was quite lucky really with the handover takeovers from when my dad was coming around on his bike to Jimmy turning up, Jimmy Dexter. He travelled all the way from Lincoln, which was like 2 and a bit hours.
Is he a military friend? Is he? Or is
yeah, so he's literally just left the military actually. So we had his leaving do at work about 3 weeks ago. We went out for a few beers in Wetherspoons in Aldershot for that. So he's getting out. He's got his gym that he's doing, his boot camps and stuff. He's doing really well with that. So he'd finished his boot camps, jumped in his car for a 2-hour journey, and then turned up for a handover takeover with my dad, who was like, right, I'm going to go to bed for a bit. And then Jimmy took over. So those dark hours it was him who sort of dragged me through them by getting that routine of 6 minutes, you're getting some stretching, eating, drinking, going to the toilet, and then you're lying down for 20 minutes. And then it was him that was dragging me up round, running, walking, crawling the route until we got back in.
Do you know what I can tell? The way you're talking, I know it's quite funny. I don't know if you'd noticed, guys. He said 04 whatever. That's military straight away, isn't it? Like,
right, yeah.
Instead of just 4:30, like 04:30. But the way you're talking is very. Some people say, "Oh, you're in your garage at home, mate, and you're just running." But you sound like it's a mission. You sound like it's like it's the handover takeover. It's
right,
but it's that wording of. If someone not normal, but someone with a normal mindset just said, "Oh, someone's coming to help me for a bit," doesn't put you in a very good place. But when you've got this plan, handover, takeover, this time, that time, people are coming here, people are coming there for 24 hours, and that just shows how plans work, and how that mindset of planning works, and how success works. But just the way you're talking, I'd say straight away, it's you've got to level above other people straight away, because like I said, just the way you're talking, it sounds like a plan. As long as you hit the plan and it all goes well, you're gonna get to the end in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Which is very it's very military, but we say military precision, don't we? When we talk about plans, it literally is military precision. I say, like, the way you're talking about it, like the handover, takeover, this person's coming at this time.
I never even thought,
Yeah, but it's very, like you say,
one of them.
You start thinking from the outside and you think, oh, you're in your garage, just doing a run.
You're in your garage,
but you're taking it like it's a professional, which that's the way I go about everything like this. Like this, mate, this is not my life. This is not, doesn't earn me any money whatsoever. But what it does do is I put everything into it and I love it. And it's that takes you while you're going to be successful, while your new business venture is going to be successful. And if that's taken from people I learned from you, or you learning from the military, it's just cool. And like I say, I notice it because I'm not with you 24 hours.
Yeah.
Your missus will just be like, yeah, whatever, this is Josh.
Yeah.
In the kitchen in the morning like that.
Yo.
Breakfast, whatever.
Yeah.
Ready for duty. But for me to see it, I can notice it, but that's why you're going to be successful in life.
Yeah, cheers,
and
man.
I do people say about the military, like it does help you. Some people would go the opposite way. And it truly fucks them up.
Very easy.
But I also see it with my other friend Stu I had on the podcast. He's the same. Like he ended up being a manager at that brief job I had.
Yeah.
And people couldn't get used to him because he was so stiff. And they go, "What's he like?" And they go, they're just like stiff,
rigid,
straight.
rigid.
And it was all military timing. Everything was written down.
Yeah.
Everything was to time. Dun. But is now a manager and successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people that aren't on time or anything like that, it kind of really pisses me off.
I did expect. I kept looking outside actually and thinking he's going to be here, but at least 15 minutes early.
So
he's going to sit outside for a bit.
So it's like 5 minutes before. It's like our regimental custom is 5 minutes before the time you've been given. And I just came down. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know where he lives. I remember it from when we were kids. And I come up here, and I was like, right, I've just parked over the road there. I was like, I'll quickly see what number it is, and then put it in. I was like, yeah, it is where I thought it was. I'm pretty sure when I knocked on the door, it was like 59 or something.
It's bang on, literally bang on 3 o'clock. Like I'm here, but that's something I learned when I was out in America doing cheer. That it was all life skills, which is what I tried to come back when I started coaching here. Is I wanted to give a bit like the military those life skills. It's not just cheerleading. You're not just doing this because you're never going to do it for life. But that whole, if you're not here at 6:45, started at 7, you're not here at 6:45, you're late. Because you've got 15 minutes, you need to get ready. You can't just turn up at 7 o'clock. And I was just telling them that, and they'd be punished for not turning up. Well, yeah, but practice don't start till 7. Yeah, but you weren't here at 2:45, so now you're going to start putting your shoes and stuff on. Now I've got to wait for you.
Yeah.
And everyone else is waiting for you, so get here and get on time.
It is a great thing to do, especially to young adults. It's great, or even young kids. It's great to have that sort of punctuality and regiment in their life, because, like you say, it'll help them out with life skills.
It teaches them, get to work 15 minutes early.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you ain't gonna lose your job then.
Yeah, don't just get there on time.
And you'll get promoted.
Yeah, 100%, even more money.
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of the night. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. What was it like getting the donations? Still, was that like a
Yeah. So I was talking to Laura's nan earlier about it, and she was asking what it was like, and I said what really, really surprised me, and I really, really enjoyed, was even though it was like 01, 02, 03, 04 when people are sleeping, I was getting people that wouldn't normally speak to me were sending me messages on WhatsApp, Instagram. People I didn't even have their numbers. They'd like ask someone for the number and sent me a personal message on WhatsApp. There were people FaceTiming, WhatsApp video calling, on all the different platforms, just like wishing luck, asking how I was, how my feet are, how my legs are. And again, that was just great to get at those sort of dark hours when you are struggling and your mind is turning on you, that all these people are still out there just, I wonder how Josh is getting on, I'll send him a quick message. And the donations that had come in at like, someone would donate like £50 at like 02 or something like that, and it's like, who's donating that? 50 quid at 2 o'clock in the morning? It's like insane.
Well, that's other countries then.
It's brilliant.
That's other countries there, or someone really drunk.
Yeah, someone really drunk at the wake up, like, shit, it's supposed to be a £5.
Yeah, I meant to help him. Boom, 50 quid.
Like, Josh, mate, any chance you speak to Anthony Nolan and get that back?
Bro, from Polesar, that wouldn't surprise me.
Is that my hands,
from Polesar, just stumbling out the spread, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but
I need it back.
But yeah, it just sort of reminds you that there is like really nice people and there's really nice people in the world, you know, where everyone thinks everything's negative and there's arseholes everywhere. It's not the case. There is really nice people out there that are willing to help people and wish people luck.
And what I did like is I know it's great for your new business venture. This is great you're helping, but also you're advertising what your perfect business model is. Like, you're selling yourself as such. So people who don't know, Josh is going to be a PT, personal trainer. He's releasing his own company, and he's building his brand from there, to be able to then one day release from the military and do that full time, right?
Yeah.
So he's branding himself. What I did like, though, is there weren't too much of that.
No, I didn't want to try and. I mean, I've done it on my Facebook and off my other Instagram page as well. But the only reason it was mainly on there was due to the following. I thought it'd be a disservice to Anthony Nolan, where on my other Instagram page there was considerably less followers, and it just made sense, really. Like you said, sort of advertising yourself, but not mainly for the following that was on there.
Yeah, but when you did, every time you were on, you plugged the charity. This episode is sponsored by Wax and Relax. www.waxandrelax.co.uk, guys. They make homemade wax melts, and they go in your house, probably in your garden when we've got summer. You can put them outside. They melt. I don't know if you've seen them. You put a flame underneath them, you melt, and they come out with the flavors, whatever they've infused the wax with. Now, they are handmade, guys. Now, in this time, we need to support local businesses, small businesses. They're from Bournemouth. They feel the waves, they feel the sea, they feel the sand from Bournemouth. They know what a good smell smells like. So get at them, www.waxandrelax.co.uk for all your good smelling wax melts. So it proved why you were doing it. Yeah. You see some of these people do these things, and you can tell me you're not doing it to promote your own business. You're fucking lying. They're all doing it to promote their own business. Yeah. But why not do something good at the same time? I did my walking challenge where I climbed Snowdon with cheer shoes on. I just linked my sport and blah, blah, and that was for Alex Works. And yeah, it was promoting myself, because I was promoting myself as a cheerleader, which is where I've gone with my career. And I was then also helping out. So why not do that? But you get some people who they just get wrapped up in, they forget why they're doing it. I loved it whenever you were doing a story, you were talking about yourself or how you're getting on, but then straight away you were plugging it back to why you were doing it. And I think that was really respectful and good, because it proves why. Do you know what I mean? You're not just doing it.
Well, I said to Laura before I started advertising it, I said, is it wrong to advertise it on the coaching platform? She's like, no, it's got more followers, and you're doing it for, like you said, for the right reasons. Yeah. And if an outcome comes from that where you get more followers, then it's a bonus. But at the same time, they're getting the information they need about potentially becoming a donor, or donating to the cause. So it's sort of a win-win, really, for everybody.
Well, I know Ross Edgley, he didn't do it to promote anything, but he did. Because he did that. They did the research with the sea, didn't they?
Yeah.
Red Bull sponsored it.
And Gymshark, I love that sort of stuff.
Gymshark, there were, and he was being paid by them while he was out there. So he was the same. Jamie Alderton, he makes a lot of money for that Chestnut Treehouse, is it?
Yeah, he
but
does, yeah.
He's a PT. He's got to show he's fit. He's got to show that his endurance is good. He's got to show that when you're buying your programs from him, that they speak wonders. Like, you know what I mean? And that's what you're doing. You're proving, like, if I want to get fit or even be extreme and want to go running, long distance running, I'll come to you because you ran for 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like, why? If someone did say you shouldn't be doing that, I'll tell them where to go. Yeah. Because then you raise $2,000 at the same time. You could have just ran for 24 hours for the fun of it because you're military, so you're weird like that. So you probably like to go through that.
Maybe.
Maybe not now as you get a bit older, but you've probably done some stuff in your time where I'm going to go run and it's going to really hurt for the fun of it. Go in the gym. Sometimes it ain't fun. Yeah. And just people training that hard is a bit weird, but military, as I say, they're different type of weird. Like I'm saying, let's get stimulated and let's get weird, but military are different type of weird, man. But for you to put yourself through that and to be so into what you're doing for the charity, speaks wonders and sells your business as it is. It shows what a nice guy you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were all arseholes growing up, so you're a bit of an arsehole growing up. But
only recently, I haven't really, I'm honest. Depends who you ask. You're always an arsehole to someone, ain't you?
If they're not part of your team, you're not telling off.
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of the night, and the messages are rolling in, you're getting pushed. Did it rain in the middle of the night?
No, luckily, no. So from like 12 o'clock onwards, it's in midday, it didn't rain once, even though it was forecast heavy rain all day, and that was predicted all week. So I was kind of like, it's gonna be pretty nails, but no, the rain gods held off.
Did the sleep debt do any more than the well, that's enough playing tricks on your mind that you're gonna tell your friend to stop running. But
if I'm honest, that was pretty much it really. I knew it was a load of rubbish, but the thing that was I was really battling against was just my stomach. I'd had that many Imodium that when I started running now, I couldn't breathe properly because my stomach was that. It was like out there.
oh.
So that was clogged up. Everything I was eating was just getting further and further and further up there. So there was sort of no release from that. I couldn't breathe properly. So on top of the dreams as well, I was just like, I'm just gonna have to sack it. That's it. Got no choice. But at the same time, I wouldn't do it anyway. But it's just, I think if you don't have those battles with yourself, or if you say that you didn't have those battles with yourself in those situations, I'd probably call you a liar, because I think you're naturally meant to have those battles.
It's one of those things, though, man. Once you start, if you're that type of person, nothing's going to stop you unless you die.
Yeah, like I said to Laura, I was like, the only thing that will stop me is if I'll get ran over or something. But yeah.
Yeah, because you'll do, even if you do feel that bad, you're like, say you're being sick, you just don't feel right, there's probably a few times where you started to slow yourself down, and when you started to walk right at the end.
Yeah, from like 52 miles, I just couldn't run anymore because I couldn't regulate my breathing enough with how tight my stomach was, and walking was the only way I was going to get it done. Whereas if I carried on running, it wouldn't have happened.
But then you wouldn't have stopped.
No, I wouldn't have stopped.
That type of person, do you know what I mean? Like maybe at 12 o'clock you'd have gone, I'm not walking.
Yeah.
And when you're walking, you're like, I ain't stopping, and you just wouldn't have stopped because you're that type of person. And once you started, even just stopping even if you stopped, you'd be stopped for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a failure. Go.
Well, I didn't stop.
Walk.
So whenever we was doing the loop, there was no stopping on the loop. It was just continuous. I mean, the only times I'd stop would be I'd quickly dip in for a bush for a wee, and then I'd carry on straight away. But I mean, sometimes when I was getting in at like 5:02 the hour. Bearing in mind I'd set off 55 minutes previous, straight in, and I'd be like, quickly. I wouldn't even have a chance to take my shoes off. Just quickly have a gel, have a bit of water, and then I didn't have that. The time was that short. I just take the bottle of water with me and just turn around, pretty much touch the garage door, turn around, and then just walk off again for an hour.
So literally the last marathon was a marathon.
Yeah. Literally, it was. Yeah,
it wasn't broken at all. Well, it was broken as in quickly, like say 5 minutes, and then so that's not really broken.
Kind of continuous, really.
So the hardest, the last marathon it's going to be the hardest, was literally the hardest because it was consistent marathon.
Pretty much, yeah. The time was very, very limited from when I was coming in to leaving, but every time I left, it was rigid, bang on the hour. As I say, I'd be getting up at 58 when I was getting some sleep. And then come whatever time was on the hour, we'd be straight out. We didn't miss a single rotation for the time.
How did you train for this?
Funnily enough, I didn't really do any running, so it might sound strange to a lot of people. If you're doing a running challenge, you just think, you need to get running, but I only done probably 6 weeks training. I'm quite conditioned anyway. I run very regular.
You've probably done a lot of running in the military anyway.
And I sort of changed my training up for this quite a lot. So I was doing a lot of single leg strength exercises, a lot of sort of back, core. I was doing a lot of stuff on the watt bike as well, doing a lot of functional threshold tests. I was doing long spins on the bike. And then once a week I go out for a weighted tab, which is just with a Bergen on with, say, 37 to 45 pounds. And I go for 8-10 miles. And then the rest of the week would consist of single leg exercises, some compound movements, and just on the watt bike, and swimming as well. Actually, I've done quite a lot of swimming. We've got a really decent pool in Aldershot for the free swims, so I made the most of that.
Well, that's tiring swimming, man, and it's even worse because you don't sweat. You don't feel like you're sweating. You don't get warm.
Good sessions in the pool.
You don't get warm. Your joints don't give up, or your muscles don't give up, but your joints don't give up. So it's good for your joints, but it's tiring as hell. And
it's great for the lungs.
Yeah, you never realise. I know Eddie Hall used to swim, didn't he? And he still swims now.
Yeah, he's rapid.
His condition.
Absolutely rapid.
Yeah, for how big he is, he can swim well. That's good technique, though, isn't it? But the pool is a good thing for a lot of sports. And you say that's quite funny, but running's. I try and explain it to people when I was PT, and you'll probably say it quite a lot, but running's it's a sport. It's at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So just going out and running, you got to, like you say, your single leg, your core, you got to get yourself conditioned for running, not just being able to run.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting like 1.5, 2 times weight, your body weight through
Through
each
one
limb.
leg,
Do you know what I mean? Each time you take a stride. So the single leg variations are very important in
Well, it's
that.
literally it's consistently jumping
Hopping.
onto one
jumping
leg.
on one leg. Yeah, literally, just with a bit more
So
panache.
that's
and
why
style.
I hate it when you see just someone come into the gym who's not even overweight, just someone who's just not conditioned
Mhm.
from sitting down forever and never done sport.
Yeah.
And they get on the machine and start running. I'm like, stop,
Yeah.
because you have back pain, knee pain, ankle pain, and you'll quit.
Yeah,
You'll
literally.
quit
Yeah,
within-
it's kind of like the
within a
go-to
week.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'll just go running, but no, it's quite an advanced thing, really.
Yeah.
Running, especially if your aim is to lose a lot of weight. It's the last thing you want to be doing.
It'd be fine if we ran from babies. If we all ran from birth
Yeah.
and didn't sit down like
if
this,
you're conditioned to it, you know what I
would
mean?
be
If you're
fine.
regular, yeah,
we'd be fine. But when you get adults going in that have done nothing for 25 years, and they're
Mhm.
like, well, I'm going to be a runner, or I'm just going to
Yeah.
be running on the treadmill. One, the treadmill's bad anyway,
yeah,
because it just fires your hamstrings
It's
up. and
awful.
You don't run, it just makes you run.
yeah, just
It's
hanging
literally-
on.
Your legs just literally flick back, and you just bring them forward. So I've got
Yeah.
tight hips now. Well, of course you have, because all you've been doing is bringing
Yeah.
your knees forward.
Mhm.
Why? Because the machine takes your legs back.
Yeah.
So all you do is just consistent knee drives for an hour. No wonder you're in pain and your neck hurts. 'Cause
And
running
you're
like
sacking
this.
it.
Yeah, and you give up after 10 days or whatever.
Yeah,
shit
exactly.
like that. So a lot of like not running conditioning, but more, I say you are probably physical conditioned anyway. It was more, you're thinking more strength side
I
to
was
be able
more
to keep
thinking-
going.
Yeah, more injury prevention. I always have quite a lot of problems with like on the outside of my knees where I get quite a lot of tightness, but I think it's all the muscles around. So I mainly wanted to focus on the single leg variations just to strengthen the little muscles around that. So if I was running for long periods of time, normally when I get to like the 35 mile point, my legs sort of lock up on the knees, which this time it didn't happen. And I'm pretty confident it's down to the build-up I've done for that with the single leg variations. But another really good outcome from doing those over the period of 6 weeks, I increased like my 1 rep max for squat by about 70 kilo on top of what I could already lift. So I put a lot of success down to single leg variations.
Oh, mate, it's wicked. I ain't been in the gym for about 3 months. Rocked in today and did a 120
Yeah,
kg
yeah.
deadlift. And I say I haven't conditioned. I've drank beer for nearly every night of the week. I put down from doing a lot of dieting in the past that I'll put weight on, but I'll never get fat again.
Yeah.
And I'll always, the same things in my head is always the same. If I look at a meal, I always make the meal the same. Even when I eat out, because I was a fat kid when I was younger, I naturally now know what to look at, and if I know when I've overeaten, so I know if I've got to push back the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact, like training, I've just been doing life, and then I've gone back in, like you say, you've come away from squatting for a bit, done something a bit different,
Yeah.
back to it, and you're like, oh, this is nice.
Like supplementing it with something else,
yeah.
and then coming back to
And
the
like
specifics.
you say, single leg as well is. What happens if you've got a shift or one side stronger? That whole squat, you could have been squatting with just your right side and you don't even know.
That's it, yeah, imbalances. It just completely sorts imbalances
And now you've got a strong
out.
left leg.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, your squat's gone up. Well, yeah, because now you're using both of them.
Both foot. Yeah, they're both. You know
yeah,
what I
not
mean?
just one of them.
Yeah.
So that's cool to see. Same again, that's very military precision that you've looked deep into it. But obviously, especially with your new job as well, you've started to look at things a little differently.
Yeah.
How you break, how you're going to fix things, because you're going to start having clients who you've got to fix and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Are you taking anyone on for clients, or are you thinking like, oh, actually, I'd like running specific stuff?
No, so
That'd be nice. People who've got doing marathons and stuff
I mean,
like that.
if people want to come to me for that, I'll be
Fix them, bro.
more than happy. I've got the skill set to, you know what I mean, get them to their goal. But my sort of target audience isn't as such at the moment, with being so new to the sort of industry. I say new to the civilian side of the world. So I can't really be that picky with my target audience at the moment. I have got specifics who I won't work with or will work with. But at the moment, I'm welcoming most people, to be fair, just so I get a feel for how
what you
people
wanna do,
react
yeah.
and what I want to do, instead of just closing my mind off to say, look, I want to work with from 25 to 45-year-olds, parents that don't have much time for blah, 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 blah. So the field's kind of open at the moment for
Well,
stuff
mate,
like
you're
that.
proof of anything like that. You could go anywhere. You could do marathon runners. You could do busy dads, have a dad club, because you're smashing it. You're still going to work. You're still working out. You're actually building another business on top of work.
Yeah,
You've got time for all this stuff and have 2 kids
It don't feel like that.
and a missus to keep happy.
Yeah. You
like,
know what?
you could have a dad club, man, and you have thousands of
Yeah.
dads come and say, how are you doing it? Because a lot of people out there struggle, really struggle.
Wow, I put my hand up. Yeah, everyone, I struggle doing all that. It's
out there though, mate. I had
a
client who's now started the Strong Dad Club because he was my client.
Yeah,
and I said, dude, you're doing it, and I would turn around and say to him a lot of time, I can't. As a PT, I never lied, so I was like, dude, I can't justify and tell you that I understand because I don't. I ain't got kids, so I can't understand. And I'm never going to force you to go to the gym if you can't. I'm never going to. He used to apologise for not going to the gym at 6 a.m. because his kid got him up and he had to be with the kid, and not because his missus let his missus lie in before work or whatever. I said, well, I'm not going to tell you off. I'm not going to tell you off for that. You got a kid, life's life, and I had to sometimes G him up and say it's fine. Because he'd be down for the rest of the day.
It's nice to do that as well, because a lot of people won't understand. Like you said, you don't understand, but you did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just couldn't. Sometimes I couldn't say to him, "I'm sorry, but I can't." So now he's now doing it. I'm like, dude, you've learned from me how to get jacked and lose weight.
Yeah.
Now go look after other people because you understand the other side of it.
Share the love.
He's got the strong. I think it's the Strong Dad Club or something like that.
Local, is he?
No, Bristol.
Oh, mega.
Bristol, I had him online, looked after him online, and then all I did was him online. So I was like, just think what you can do now with Dad Club, and he's got this strong. I think it's not Strong Dad, Strong Parent Club. Yeah, and he's just trying to show, to show that you can look after yourself and have kids. Which that could be a thing you go down.
I think it's very important though to have a strong partner as well that can do it if you're lucky enough to be in that situation. Otherwise, I don't know how some people do it. It'd be very, very difficult. You'd need a good network of people around you. And obviously with Laura, I'm very fortunate. She's great at literally raising the kids, especially when I'm at work. So shout out to you there, Laura.
Aw, ain't that cute, eh? He's lying. No, he's not. No, mate, I've seen it straight away. If she's a military wife. And when you told me on the last podcast that you used to travel from Catterick on a weekend, one, that's showing your love for the family, coming back every weekend, because that's a long ass drive. Yeah. And second, for her to stick by you when you go out there. Did you meet her in the military, or is she from?
So I'd not long been in. Yeah. So we've been together for 8-9 years, maybe 2014. Do the maths on that, but I'd only been in the military 2 years, I think, before I met Laura. So she's pretty much been with me the entire career. So she knows what to expect, and she's pretty tough with it.
That's mad though, because I was actually being down in Catterick, up in Catterick, where you were, and you speak to a lot of the people because nearly everyone's military wife or military kid or whatever. Yeah, in Garrison. So that's where the gym is. Literally, it's next to the Aldi.
By the swimming pool.
As you drive in, the leisure centre's on your right.
Tesco's.
Yeah. The gym. They've got a new gym now opposite the leisure centre. And I was talking to her, and her saying how it's just a way of life. But she's living in the town. Your missus was living 3 hours the other way.
Yeah, she's living here. Yeah.
So for her to stick by you through that shows how strong she is straight away. So like you say, you need that pillar of. I'd be stuff about my missus, mate. I'm a functioning alcoholic now, but I'd be an alcoholic not functioning if I didn't have the missus. I would be stuffed without her. Yeah. Me going on my travels and stuff like that. Get in the house, she's been the person who's I've done most of the fun, not the funding, the paperwork and that behind it. But when it got tough and shit, and when we thought we weren't going to get the house, she was the one that was like, "What we're going to do then?
Yeah,
how are we going to do this?"
Yeah, that rational
and I was
brain,
like, "Ugh, I gotta go get a job somewhere else and not be self-employed anymore." But she was the one like, "Well, do you want the house or not?" That she's my we're those people who talk to those. Yeah. We need those people like that to talk to us.
Yeah.
The same as you, even if you're a sergeant or whatever you are at the army, you still need someone above you to sort your shit out.
To get you in check, man. Yeah, 100%.
There's always got to be someone else above you, and that's a strong lady or boyfriend, girlfriend. We like everyone on this podcast. Yeah. The birds, the bees and the bees, and the birds and the birds. Everyone, mate. But yeah, your partner, a strong partner, by your side, and my mum too, man. My mum. Your mum's strong too, right? Yeah. And your dad. It looks like your dad.
Yeah.
I say different from my dad. He's a bit of an arsehole, but
leave that for another podcast.
But yeah, we already did that. Shout out to my mum when she came on the podcast. Yeah, she did, and we had a good chat about that. But yeah, your dad, just little people like that helping you through your challenge. Mm-hmm. He ain't just done that. He's done it for your life. So it shows that a mold of what you are now is a mold of your parents, because there are some people that use it the other way. My parents aren't that good, so I'm successful that way. But the fact that you've got that unit around you is a reflection of them. Do you know what I mean? A reflection of your dad staying up in the middle of the night. It was the same as my mom. She'd be up for the whole 24 hours if I did it. And
I mean,
that's
he
a
would have been. To be
reflection.
fair, he would have been actually. Yeah. And I say my mum come and ran one with me as well, and she was. It was through the day. She was like, "Oh, what time are we on? We're out for time." I was like, "Don't worry about the time." I was like, "We've got plenty of time to get back in, and even if it's 10 minutes, it's all right. Don't worry about it." But she got into the rhythm. She was fine with it. Laura ran one with me as well. One of the second to last one. We just got on the canal. Just me and Laura ran down the canal. Nice chat. Turn around, come back. So yeah, it was great.
I like when it was finishing, man. Like when people were in the
around me.
street and that.
that was
Your
cool.
kids, like your girl. Look, you got 2 girls, haven't you?
It's a boy and a girl.
Oh, boy and a girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Esme and Hudson. I mean, Hudson looks like a little girl because he's got really long hair at the minute.
I didn't even know you
we
got
don't want to
a boy.
cut
I
it.
thought you had 2 girls.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I've missed that.
I might have another girl in the distant future or whatever, but not
finishing
yet.
with the kids, hugging you and that, and look, it was sweet, man.
No, it was cool, man. 'Cause I didn't expect it, so. So obviously my dad jumped on his bike and followed me for the last one, and Jamie come and ran the last one with me. But yeah, when we come up, I didn't realise there was that many people that was going to be there, so it was really nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the neighbours were looking out the window thinking, "What is going on?"
I'm surprised no one come out and ask.
No, so as I was coming up on, it must have been like the first marathon. I'd come a different loop just to mix it up a little bit. And as I was coming up, there was a couple of neighbours that were there talking, and they'd seen me in the park about 6 hours earlier.
This episode is sponsored by Wax and Relax. www.waxandrelax.co.uk, guys.
And they seen me running, and I was coming back up. They're like, "Bloody hell, are you still out running?" I was like, "Yeah." And I explained that what I was doing. They were just like, "Oh my lord."
I'm surprised like if I was a neighbour and I saw that, I'd want to go out and say, "What are you doing?"
I was quite quiet though with it. I mean, the second I'd come in, I weren't really talking much. I was just focused on getting that recovery, getting this, getting that, trying to empty my stomach. And
surely your neighbours are going to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
probably. Yeah.
And people are like, "All right, he's been out. He's been out till since 12 o'clock now, and he's still out there." I'm going to go and ask.
Bit far now.
I'm going to ask if he's all right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm ask him
yeah.
why he's doing it.
But no, they didn't actually. I
That's
mean,
what I hate about neighbours these days.
to be fair, I think we got really good neighbours around by us. Just in case you're listening,
No one wants to talk though. Like I say, I'd be straight.
You
out.
are right. I mean, the neighbours round by us, they are very friendly, but people are sort of themselves to themselves.
I just got a new house, and I said, "Oh, I spoke to this person," and the missus says, "Yeah, of course you have." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I have." Like,
That's what I was
I'm
like
new.
when I moved
I'm
in.
new. I want to know everyone. I want them to know me. I want to know if I'm away,
Yeah.
the house is being looked after.
Yeah.
I want to know that people are gonna like. I hate that whole you don't know anyone in your street anymore and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, we got Bill over the road. We got John, Pete up there. We got Sophie over the road.
Yeah,
These are all real people, by the way.
They say, you just throw names out there.
No, they're real
like,
people.
Yeah, you just keep yourself to yourself. That weird military guy at the end of the street. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So with work now, is it long term? How much longer in the military now?
Really good question, actually. So
So now you have to see your time out, don't you? You can't just leave because they come and get you.
You have to give like a
They come and get you.
It's quite formal. You have to give like a year's notice, like where most jobs it's like 4 weeks or 2 weeks, or you just don't ever go back. It's a year, but the reason it is so long is because it's kind of like being in prison for a serious amount of time, where you get institutionalised, and to the outside world you're sort of unemployed. You've been off the radar for so long, so that year is very crucial to your sort of leaving, you know what I mean, setting things up in place, courses, so when you do leave the army you're good to go, if you know what I mean. So
Yes, it's good they set you up then.
yeah, they set you up. You get full resettlement, where you get X amount of thousands of pounds to spend on certain courses to set you up, and you have that year buffer. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword. That year buffer, people panic because they don't do anything for a year because it's so long. I've had so many friends that are like, "Oh, I've got ages, mate," and it comes to like 2 months before they leave. You're like, "Oh, wait, what you doing?" "I don't know, mate, I'm going to sign back on." And they'll withdraw the termination.
I just stay.
And that's it, they just stay then. So it's a great model by the military, if I'm honest. But yeah, it works both ways.
It's
quite
nice.
well.
It's nice to hear that they help, because obviously you hear a lot of devastating stories about the military, how they don't.
Mhm.
How it's like you're cannon fodder and then you're gone.
Yeah, I mean,
you serve your
it's
country and
true.
then they throw you on the ground.
It's true. But I mean, it's the nature of the beast. They're a massive, massive organisation. You'll get it in other organisations. You know what I mean? You can't, unfortunately, capture everybody, and that's just failings at different levels. But yeah.
But it's nice to know they give you it. It's down to you to do what you do with it.
You have to be very proactive.
So, like, if they didn't give you a year and they give you 2 weeks,
you'd moan.
Then you'd moan. So they're giving you a year and they're telling you to do that, and you're like, okay, cool, I've got a year to get my arse into gear.
Yeah.
Well, that's your own fault if you don't sort that out. And they're giving you money too.
A lot of it's down to your sort of very close management on how they sort of let you do certain things.
Yeah.
Where, you know, when you'll try and book an appointment, it'll be like, oh, no, you can't have it on this day. So it's one of those.
Yeah,
but
not making it awkward for you.
It's one of those. But, yeah.
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 I can't wait to get out of the military, because that was literally, I want to say so much more, but I can't. So I can't wait to get out of the military. And I like some of Joe Rogan's guests, man, when they just talk.
Just become a whistleblower?
When they just talk about so much stuff, and I'm like, that's so interesting. So I can't wait to get out of the military.
There is a lot. I mean,
like 20 years time.
Yeah, I won't really say a bad word about it at the minute. I mean, I've had nothing but good experiences. I mean, I have had bad experiences in the army, but majority of them have been brilliant, and I wouldn't really fault it, to be fair, at the moment.
Till you're out.
Pending.
Guys, you're going to hear it first. I'm going to get him back every year until he just goes off on one and speaks loads.
This one time.
So, you bought me a present, apart from me stealing.
Oh, yeah.
So, he actually, to me, guys, so he offered me a Monster, yeah? He said, you have whichever one you want. So I had the green one, then he told me off for having the green one. Well, I'm sorry, don't offer me 2 different colours then. That's what a girl does when they go, what do you want for dinner?
True.
Chinese or Indian? I'll have Indian. Yeah, I want Chinese.
Yeah.
Well, why give me the
I'm
option?
not getting 2.
Just tell me you're having Chinese then. Don't just give me the option. You gave me an option, then moaned.
I mean, I do like that one.
I feel like it was a test.
It was a test.
It was a military test.
You literally failed.
We're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. He's just going to wipe me off.
I'm doing my own.
No Instagram.
Podcast up.
No Instagram. He's just going to get rid of him. He's like, yeah, in the military, this is what we do. We do a little
That's
test.
what I done when I was there on my phone while you were setting up. That's what I was doing. God.
He's going to lean over in a minute and just going to turn the camera off. Turn the laptop off and go, you're not using any of that.
Yeah.
See you later, bye.
Classified.
Just because you have my green Monster.
And
you bought me something else as well.
Yeah. So when I've listened to your podcast before, I've seen people that get you like coffees and stuff, because obviously it's the Coffee with Sam podcast. I do drink coffee and other various stimulants.
It's just way too hot today. That's why we're on the not a sponsor Monster.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say to you, I bought some, and I was like, we can't have a coffee, mate. It's too hot. We'll be bright red in here. Our face will be bright red. So.
I mean, it's pretty warm, isn't it?
So I was like, we can't be having hot coffees.
And I've seen it on some other people's podcasts where people get like books or whatever to pass on knowledge or whatever. And I've got a spare book of this. My other one is pretty battered, and it's got all like bookmarks coming out of it from different things that I've took note of and that. But I thought I'd give you a book to read, which is the Chimp Paradox, which is absolutely brilliant in sort of boxing the chimp, the inner chimp, the self-doubt, really, the self-talk.
This is sick.
Which is a really, really interesting book. It can get boring at times, but
I love gifts.
There's like practical things in there that you can do and work through. So
is it about mindset? Is that what it is?
Mindset, yeah. About mindset by Professor I can't remember his name on there.
Paradox, the mind management program for confidence, success, and happiness. The mind program that helped me with my Olympic gold, Sir Chris Hoy. I cannot wait to get my teeth into this. And you know what? If I end up reading it, you're a very privileged man, because I have books. But why I started the podcast was because I can only listen or do.
Yeah, there's an audio book of it.
Reading is hard for me.
Yeah.
Like I can walk for an hour, 2 hours, and I'll come back and tell you exactly what I've listened to on that podcast. Unless my mind's gone off about something, thinking about something, and then I can lose a podcast.
Yeah,
so I'm like, just okay. What I'm gonna do on my own podcast is, and then I get an hour in. I'm like, I ain't listened to any of that.
I know exactly what you mean. Exactly.
But I do the same with books. So I read. I don't lose myself. I read.
Yeah.
And then I go, yeah, I've not read any of that.
So the reason that so books like that, audio books, I love audio books. But like I need to be able to read certain things, like practical steps in that. I need them in front of me so I can be like, oh yeah, cool, and then make a note of it. Ooh. And then otherwise I can't learn from it, or I'll keep replaying it, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, why did that sound different that time?
What does it mean?
Or just, well, I missed that bit.
I missed that bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I've been saying it wrong.
Back 15. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's this like this podcast. I couldn't tell you what we spoke about.
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
I couldn't tell you at all what we spoke about. But listening, that's why I enjoy doing this though, because I love listening.
Yeah.
And I love learning from listening, and I'm nosy and I ask questions. And I remember being little and my brother saying to me, "You stop asking questions." When we used to work on cars and stuff, I'd be like, "Yeah, why are you doing that? Yeah, why are you doing that? Yeah, but what's
Why?
next?
It's like a
Yeah, but
3-year-old.
why does that happen? Why is it?" But that's what I love here. I got no notes, mate. So my own podcast,
Yeah.
we have notes up here for myself, because when I'm sitting
Yeah.
talking to myself, I
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
remember what I want to talk about or where I go off on it. But this, no notes, because I'm just like, let's talk, man.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
then my brain.
Just
if I
where
had
the
notes,
conversation goes, isn't
I've
it?
had notes before, and I've just one question. That's about it.
Yeah.
Never
Or
used
it'll
it.
throw you off, and you're constantly just like waiting for him to finish, not listening to him. Next question.
Now sometimes I do that. If you say something, and I'm like, I'm gonna ask a question about that later.
Yeah.
I'll keep that question for a good 20-30 minutes, and I might not.
Ever
I might
ask
ask
it.
four. I might ask it, but I might ask 4 questions in between,
Yeah.
and not even listen to what you say.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about the other one.
Yeah.
But I've
yeah,
already
yeah,
asked 4 questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the other one comes in, and I'm like, there we go, boom, I can use that one now.
Yeah.
But no, this is amazing. Now, everyone else who's listening, if you're going to be a guest, you've got to trump this now. And when I've read it, what I'll do is, mate, this will be in the new studio that I've started building. This will be in there. I'll just keep this in the studio, like the other gifts, like the
Cool, man.
the whiskey.
I didn't want to get whiskey or anything like that because I didn't want to poison your health, but
Oh, all right.
yeah.
How long have you been sober for?
It will be sober for like an alcoholic. It will be 2 years in September. So next month it'll be literally 2 years.
Why?
I was just an arsehole, if I'm honest. I would just not know when to stop. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be ill, I'd miss work, I'd miss time with my family. There was a point as well, I think Esme had not long been born, she was a couple of weeks old, and I would say to Laura, like, right, look, I'm going to go to the co-op quickly just to, I don't know, get some drinks or whatever. No, I weren't telling her I was getting alcohol. This is how sort of bad it was. And I'd go to the co-op in Polesworth, drive there on my own, go in. I don't know if you know Henry Weston cider.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 8.5, nearly 9%. I'd go in there, buy one bottle, jump in the car, open it with my teeth, put it between my legs, drive up High Street and past Neversall School, round the lanes by Linden Lodge, and by the time I'd come back to Station Road, I'd have necked the full bottle, threw it out the window, and then just go home. Yeah.
So you were an alcoholic.
Well,
it
it was just to take the edge off. But do you know what I mean? How bad that is? And it still took me another, say, 6 months after that. Maybe a year. Yeah, 6 months after that. 'Cause Hudson's 18 months now. To realise that it was a problem.
Is that what put you on the path to where you are now? As in, this wanting to help other people, not with alcoholic, but as in like fitness, looking after your body, like
kind of. I've always done that anyway. I've always loved anything fitness based. If you ask all my mates at work, anything that comes up, like they'll always come and ask me, and I'll be like, yeah, it's because you've got blah blah blah, or you need this, or you need to do that. So I'm sort of like the go-to guru for like mad vitamins or deficiencies or whatever from evidence-based stuff that I follow.
yeah.
So I've always done it, but I think I mainly done it for, well, the reason I mainly done it for was for my family, really. For being a decent role model for my daughter and for my son.
No, you did the main
if I'm
thing.
honest.
You made the main thing was realising,
Yeah, and it's
and then
it
acting
took a
upon.
long time to do it.
acting upon.
Yeah.
Because like I had the same point where I was the same. I was an idiot, absolute idiot, and the missus would always say, "Why can you just not know? Why do you not know?" And it from time to time she'll say it comes back, but for me that hits me harder when she says it hasn't, because I feel like it has. Now my elder brother, he quit. He hasn't drank for about 17, 18 years, and that was because he used to fight. Whenever he had a drink, he used to fight anyway.
Yeah.
But have a drink, he fight anyone. Fight his mum, fight me, try and fight everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he realised and said, so now, like, my missus always like, I don't want you to go that way. And he was like, I don't want you to go that way. Because he could see it. And I'd say, no. But I haven't stopped drinking, but I feel like I've got more control of it.
It's great, yeah.
Now, yeah, you sitting here and saying that would make me think maybe I should stop altogether for a bit. And I actually think about this. I wasn't going to say this, I was brushing my teeth this morning, And I actually was thinking, I was like, when am I ever myself? Who is Sam Thompson anymore?
That's deep for the brushing the teeth.
And that's what happens, mate. When I'm taking a poo and stuff like that, that's where my mind goes.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm caffeinated in the morning.
Yeah.
And
First thing.
and I have alcohol said I'm sedated at night. Who am I?
Interesting. Yeah.
I was like, who am I? Because
Constant stimulants.
I still am me, yeah, but I'm stimulated in the morning. I'm stimulated not straight away in the morning, especially now I'm back at the gym. I don't have to drink as much coffee. I love coffee, not as in the blood. I just love coffee.
I love coffee.
But like I'm stimulated. We all know it takes about 90 minutes for it to kick in, lasts for about 2 hours after. So you say you have your last coffee at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm stimulated till 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Even if not saying heavy alcohol, but 1 whiskey, 1 beer, 2 beers.
Yeah.
I'm then going from stimulation to sedation. So then, when am I me?
Constantly on something. Yeah.
When am I me?
Well, the sleep doctor. What's his name now? The sleep diplomat. His name is on Instagram. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he talks about, so if you have a cup of coffee at midday, there's still a third of that cup in your brain at midnight. So like it just constantly stays
Sorry,
in.
mate. We've just smashed a whole monster at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Hey, once in a while, eh?
Yeah.
Let
once in
loose.
a while, let loose.
You're sober, mate. You might as well let
Christ.
loose with a bit of
I'll
caffeine.
bloody do what I want.
That's my sound the bad influence. That's all I am. Bad
Yeah,
influence.
yeah.
That's what I'm like when people come to the podcast. I'm like, have you drove? They're like, no. I'm like, well, there's beers in the fridge. And they're like,
Yeah, when you asked me, it's
alright.
like beers or I thought, oh Christ.
there's always beer in the fridge. Oh,
Yeah.
mate, I'd have cried if you hadn't told me. If you hadn't told me that you've been sober for 2 years, then I make you drink a beer. I'd have felt so bad.
I've been in so many situations where, so recently we went to a mess do at my work, so the science mess do. We spent about 20 grand on it, and it was called Mestival. It was literally, they had a big, massive main stage, loads of different. It was brilliant.
I saw that. The rave.
It was brilliant. Yeah, like I think most people thought I was actually at a festival like Redden or Leeds.
Yeah, it looked like a festival.
But I didn't drink the entire time there, and I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but a compliment. What am I trying to say? Most people thought
You were drunk.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
And well, I clearly wasn't.
That's like me going back to saying, who am I? Like, is that actually me? Like, I'm the same. I could go somewhere and I'm like this. I'm chatty.
Yeah.
I'm enthusiastic all the time. So I know full well that I'm not a different person.
Yeah.
But that's a compliment, to yourself.
An insult. That's what I meant to say. Is it an insult or a compliment when people don't know if I'm pissed or not?
It might be an insult to other people who have to have drink to have fun.
Yeah.
But it's a compliment to you that you can go somewhere, have a whale of a time.
I was
and
as well.
not
I
be drunk.
really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I drank probably about 15 cans of Red Bull, but I mean,
So you were stimulated.
it was great. Yeah, really, really good. Laura really enjoyed herself. Let her hair down. She was it was really, really good.
No, congratulations
really
for doing
good
that,
day.
mate.
And a lot of people, they give you it really affects other people's nights. You know, like it ruins their day until they've had a couple of beers, and then they're like, "Oh, mate, it's great what you're doing. I love it. I'm thinking about doing a detox myself." Yeah, mate, crack on.
That used to be the same when I used to go out there.
Cheers.
Some of my friends we used to go out clubbing. You're
Yeah.
going out to have a good night. I'll be
Yeah.
straight in, 1 beer, or even half a beer down. I'm dancing.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. 4 beers later, they're then involved in.
Yeah.
That's then what I mean, like, as in, they need to have that
Yeah.
to have the confidence to dance.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not. I'll dance straight away, but I just love a good beer.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where that compliment and insult goes. Like, I would insult them and say, well, you guys are boring
Yeah.
until you've had a drink.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can imagine. Do you have people forcing you to try and drink?
No, not really. No, not anymore. I mean, in the early stages, people would like, "Oh, you're fucking boring. Oh, what are you gonna do? You got no personality." It's like, well, I think it's kind of opposite. I mean, look what you're drinking to have a personality, and I'm just jamming. Just don't worry about me. You just do what you want to do.
Yeah, you do you.
And then it's like that thing they say, like, first they ask why and then they ask how. You know what I mean? After so long, and that's what a lot of people do. They do come round to it. I know a lot of people. Some of my friends at work, they've done 30, 60, 90, 6 months sober off the back of me doing this. And if it's changing someone's relationship with it, then it's great. But I wouldn't ever want people to just give it up just for the sake of it. There's nothing wrong with having a drink whatsoever, but
it's when you realise
it just don't agree with certain people. Do you know what I mean? Like with me, it doesn't really agree with me that much because I just turn into an absolute idiot, and there's just too much at stake to lose. Whereas
we had some mad
other people,
nights. We said we weren't good friends, but we had some mad nights.
Yeah,
on the village.
Yeah, man. Again, that was great because it was
God,
novice. Do you know what I mean? It was new to it.
Village.
But
do you remember the night we stayed out and we slept in the doorway of the hospital? The doctors. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was freezing
all
cold.
hooded up on the floor, getting piles.
Yeah, and we're like, none of us can go home now because our parents think we're at different houses.
Yeah, we said we was all sleeping out, roughing it.
Yeah, we
putting all nighter.
Well, the point when we were saying we're at Jimmy's, I mean, that's where we normally were.
Jimmy's house.
We're normally at Jimmy's.
Yeah. Oh man, that was absolutely.
That night we stayed at Jimmy's too.
Yeah.
And he shaved his eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh,
that night we shaved his eyebrows off.
Oh God.
We had some mad nights. So where can people find you? I know you're switching over, so forget about your personal page. Where people find you?
So on Instagram, which is at j.hubbardcoaching, and then also on Facebook, which is kind of a difficult one really because I think it's as like a shop, so it's just Josh Hubbard on Facebook, but then an add-on to that, I think you have to go onto my page, is J Hubbard Coaching, and you can go on and like that. I sort of cross-deck everything that's on Instagram to there the best I can, so either one of those you can find me on.
Well, I'm enjoying seeing you grow, really enjoying from that first phone call that we had. To see you where I was trying not to be. I want you to learn for yourself because everyone's different, and I did this. My other friend joined the industry, and I gave him everything that was bad about it, and I was like, and he says to me, "I thought you were an arsehole when I first met you," and I thought, I was just trying to be truthful. I thought I was being helpful. Well, that was just what I thought was bad with it, and actually, I was being lazy, and I made the industry bad for myself. So I'm loving seeing you progress from that first conversation, that idea, to put it into place, to slowly build up. And I think that you're going to have a lot to give to people, from the military background to quitting alcohol. Like, I've only just learned that. And as deep as your story went, like that is, you laugh about it, but that's deep, man. Like,
you know what? I brush over it probably quite a lot, but it's quite quite embarrassing, really.
But to be that's bad. Your story of putting it in between your legs and drinking it around the block and then lying to the missus that you probably haven't had a drink and you've just made an excuse to go to the shop to have alcohol. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
For you to realise that, get over it, and then happily sit here and say, yeah, I'm sober, and what? And to not use drink as an excuse. People can learn from that, mate. You ain't got to be an AA or a psychologist or a professional at it.
Yeah.
In the industry you are in now, as long as you don't pretend to be someone or pretend to have qualifications, you have got so much to give to people, so much life experience, like I say, through the military, through mindset, through everything you learn. Your military, you learn physical, mindset, fucking sleep deprivation. Do you know what I mean? To then getting over the alcohol, to family. Like, you have got so much to give to people. So I'm even more excited to see where it goes and where you end up, mate, because you're fucking driven.
Cheers, man.
like driven like anything I've ever seen, but also you have the knowledge to back it up. You're not just driven. Do you know what I mean? You know where you're going.
Yeah.
And you have to say, you're only, how old are you, 30 like me?
Yeah, 30. Yeah.
At 30, you've done a fucking lot. You've done a lot already, so you've got a lot to give to people. You can teach people 60, 70 years of age something new. You can teach 20-year-olds something new. So I'm really excited to see you grow. Thank you for the presence.
Yeah, cheers,
I'm
man.
excited to get into this.
Thank you very much
Thanks
for having me
coming
really enjoyed
into
it.
the studio.
Really enjoyed it. It's been a long time coming.
And yeah, when we get the new studio, back in for another one.
Yeah, I'll make sure I get some interesting stuff to talk about when we get there.
Yeah, man. Oh, well, always.
Yeah.
I tell you, no questions came today, and we've just sat for I don't know how long.
No, really, really enjoyed that.
Thank you for coming on. That's a wrap. But if you want to find him, any questions, don't just flood in with shit, like I say to all my guests. But J Hubbard Coaching on Instagram, and Josh Hubbard on Facebook. Go and speak to him about any of these topics we've spoke about today, and you might just end up signing up to one of his programs. So yeah, thanks for listening. That's been another episode of the Coffee with Sam podcast, and I will see you guys on here for the next episode next week. Bitches. Stay stimulated, stay weird. Thanks, Josh.
Cheers, pal.